So years ago, I used to make my living as a show band leader on cruise ships. Started out on the road in the 90s, doing the rock star thing that didn't turn into a rock star thing. I was in great shape, but that was about it. But got a gig on a cruise ship around 96 as a cruise a show band leader, which was really cool, and I did that for 10 years. And this story has to do with when I wound up at Disney Cruise Lines as a show band leader. And so one day I'm on a break. We do 3 months on, 2 months off, which was fantastic. 8 weeks vacation. But the 3 months on is basically 6 days a week with 1 day off. Shows all over the place. Every night's different. So anyway, and things would happen, like famous people would come on the ship, and we'd do gigs for them, or they'd jam with us or whatever. So one day I get a call, and it's Jim Belushi, and he says, "Hey, I'm coming on board the ship. Would you mind learning a couple songs so I can jam with you guys while I'm there?" I'm shooting According to Jim, which was his hit TV show at the time, and he wanted to know if I'd do a club night for him, and he also wanted to do the sail away party from the private island, which was a night gig upstairs with 1,500 people in a jumbotron. And it was a really cool gig. And I said, absolutely. So he sent me the music. I rehearsed the band. Sure enough, he comes on board to shoot According to Jim, the cruise ship version of his show. And I meet him the first day. He's super nice. We do a gig the next day inside the club, and that goes great. And he's very, very cool. And then he goes, "I'll see you in a couple days for the sail away party." I'm like, absolutely. So that comes, and you know, everyone spends the day on the island. It's absolutely bohemian paradise. And then the night comes and everybody has a nice dinner, and then they come up to the top deck and it's party time. And so how the deck parties usually work is the cruise staff starts, the cruise director welcomes everybody, they do some line dancing, then we come on, we play a set, then the Mickey and Minnie show happen, and then we finish out the night with some more tunes, and then that's the end of the show. So the stage is massive, typical concert size stage, and it has 2 gazebos on either side. So the crew staff waits on one side when their segment isn't going, and we wait on the other, so it doesn't get confusing and people aren't running in and out with props and stuff and Mickey and Minnie and all that stuff. So we do the first set. Jim Belushi comes off. It went over gangbusters. Everyone went nuts because he's super famous, and we were playing like Blues Brothers style music, so everybody was dancing and partying. And he's sweating. He's like, "Tim, that was great, man. Unbelievable. That was fantastic. But hey, I have a favor." And I'm like, "What's that, man?" "Anything." He goes, "Can my buddy Brad play your guitar?" I'm like, "Oh, sure. Who is he?" He goes, "Oh, no. It's not some random guy. It's Heather, my co-star's husband." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's interesting. How cool for her. She is a guy that plays the guitar. That's awesome." So he goes, "I want to introduce you." And I'm like, "No problem." I go, "When's he going to play?" He goes, "Let's start the next set with him." I'm like, "Ooh, okay, that's pretty intense. All right, usually you want to start strong," but I'm like, "No problem." He goes, "Don't worry about a thing. I can see it in your eyes." I go, "Okay." So he takes me over. He goes, "Brad, this is Tim. Tim, this is Brad." And Brad's like, "Hi, Tim. Thank you so much for letting me play your guitar." And I go, "No problem. Hey, you haven't been drinking, have you?" And he looks at me and he smirks and he goes, "No, Tim, I'm not one of those guys. I haven't been drinking. And by the way, I like the fact you're playing a Telecaster." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. At least he knows guitars. That's a good thing. He's paying attention." So sure enough, I give him the guitar, and I look over at his wife, and his wife goes, "Don't worry, he's really good." And she's smiling because she has no idea. She knows I have no idea what's going on at this time. So anyways, Brad gets up with Jim Belushi, and he kills it. It's like one step below Eddie Van Halen. It was unbelievable. I've never heard my guitar sound like that. He basically shredded that telly like and the place went mental. And Jim Belushi goes, "All right, Brad, everybody put your hands together." And the place goes, "Ah." And I'm like looking at his wife. I'm like, "He should do this for a living." And she goes, "Mm-hmm." And then he comes back and he hands me the guitar, and he's all sweaty, and like he rocked the place. And I go, "That was truly amazing, Brad. Wow." And he goes, "Thank you again, Tim. You're a nice guy." And I get on stage and I play the gig, and the gig ends. Everything's cool. I go to bed that night. I wake up in the morning, and my wife goes, "So you must be feeling pretty good about yourself?" And I go, "Why is that?" She goes, "Last night, the deck party." I go, "Oh yeah, Jim Belushi killed it. It was great." She goes, "Jim Belushi?" I go, "Yeah." She go, "Did you get him to sign your guitar?" I go, "Jim Belushi? No. Why would it? No, that. No." She goes, "Brad." I go, "Why would I want Brad to sign my guitar?" She goes, "Oh my God, you don't know." And she just goes like this. She's like, "Oh Jesus." So she goes up to the convenience area where you can buy like sodas and pops and stuffed animals and candy, and she comes back with a Snickers bar. She goes, "Take a look at the Snickers bar." And I look at the Snickers bar, and there's Brad Paisley with his big white hat holding the Telecaster going, "I love Snickers." I'm like, "Are you telling me that was Brad Paisley?" She goes, "Yes. He's married to the star of According to Jim, the Princess Bride girl." I'm like, "Oh my God." And then she just laughed her head off. She couldn't believe I didn't know. She goes, "Did you?" And then right away, she knows me so well. She's go, "You didn't say anything stupid, did you?" And I go, "Well, I did ask him if he was drunk." So that's it.